Folks, welcome back to the Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's mid-March, 17th, I believe. Haven't been down to the hives in 3 weeks, I think. And last video I showed you where I put some sugar on, and I found one hive that was suspect of not surviving because it didn't have enough bees in there to have enough, mass to make a nice cluster to keep themselves warm. So I'm concerned about that because we had a really cold front come through here, and we had 2-3 nights it was down to 8 degrees or so. So going to check on those. We also had really low pressure front come across Oklahoma, and it came out of Colorado. You probably saw stuff on the news where trucks were getting blown over and stuff. That came right through here as well. We had some 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it was cold right before that. So luckily, none of my hives blew over. The propolis held the lids down just fine, and most of them are pretty heavy except for a few. So let's get in there and check out that, I think it's hive number 5 or 7, I don't remember which, but we'll get down there and we'll figure out which one it is and see if they're still in there and see what they look like. We may need to reduce it. Probably is a good idea to reduce it, so we may do that while we're in there. So let's get started. Okay, I believe this here's the hive we were talking about. So it's that's 1 through 4. This is number 5 right here. So this hive was really lightweight, and the bees had ate some of the sugar, but there weren't many bees in there. But it looks like we got us some good activity out here on the front. So let's get in there and see what they look like and see what we need to do, if anything. All right, a little bit of smoke. So we've got the sugar feeder on here. And it looks basically the same as it did before. They've ate through a little cavity right in here. So lift this up and see what we got going on underneath there. How many bees we've got. So you can see they're working on that sugar a little bit. Not much. Basically, I see 1, 2, 3 frames of bees, and there's a lot of honey over here that hasn't been touched. So let's start on this end since that's where the bees are. Man, it is warming up fast. I might need my sweatband. So there's pollen there, and there's all capped honey. That's from leftover from last year, and that side's totally empty. I see the queen right now. She's got a little bit of a blue mark left on her. She's a little thing. Try that again, right here. She's a small thing. Got a little bit of blue left on her. The year I marked blue wasn't a blue year. All I had was a blue pin, and that was 2 years ago. So you can't go by that. So she's at least a 2-year-old queen. Let's get her back in there. So I didn't point out, there are uncapped larvae and capped larvae right in here. So this is where she's been laying, keeping the hive going. Make sure I spot her before I close this back up. No, there she is. She's right here in the middle. So I'm going to drop that down in like that. See what we got on this frame. Basically, she's laid a little bit right in here on the opposite side on this frame. And we got eggs all the way down in here. So she's laid this all up right in here. So it's fresh eggs and cat brood. So she's beginning to lay. To get this hive back on track, I'm going to scoot this over real easy because she's on the opposite side of there. I don't want to smash her. And here's what's left of the rest of the bees are right there. This part of the hive is empty. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scoot these 3 frames to the center. I'm going to put, there's 2 frames of honey right here. I'm going to put that on either side of them. And put these empty ones to the outside. And I'm going to reduce this hive to 1 deep. Let them recover. Looks like there's a lot of uncapped nectar on this. That's a heavy frame. Full of honey. Okay. And the next one's that way too. Nice flat honey. So I'm just going to scoot them over like this. That propolis on this hive is cold, making it hard to move. We'll get it over though. There's some pollen here, so I don't want to move that pollen away from the brood that's on here and disrupt what they got going on. So I'm going to take this nice heavy deep frame that's total honey, put it right next to them here. And this one here is complete honey as well. And that's going to go right next to them here. Got this wonky comb stuff going on here. Going to get it out of there. Smear that honey right there so they can have it. Okay, get these empty frames back in here. I need to put this by them because this has pollen. like the looks of that. All this comb on this frame here is sticking way out. Just going to take it off, let us do it over. Because the comb between these two frames here was touching. Sometimes you get that when you start checkerboarding frames. You put a blank one and one drawn, they'll draw the drawn one out farther and they won't touch the blank one. So I don't know if that's just common to my region, because I've seen people do checkerboarding all the time and don't have any problems, but it doesn't seem to work here in central Oklahoma. They tend to draw out the frame that has the comb on it more and leave the new frame alone. Okay, so now we're going to reduce it. Okay, I don't have my hive stand with me, so I'm going to use that inverted lid. I'm going to set this brood chamber right on there just to keep it off the ground, keep it clean. Give the bees a little bit of smoke, calm them down before I do this. That's a fairly heavy hive. And there's a few bees in here, but there's nothing down here. Let's just look real quick and make sure there's no brood or anything in here, but I doubt it. Just a little bit of honey. A little bit of honey. Empty. There's some honey. There's no bees down here. The ones that are in here are just moving up and down from the main entrance. A little bit of honey right there. Empty. Empty. Yeah. Okay. So let's get this box off of here. Clean off this bottom board. I can see bees bringing in pollen here. Okay. Another thing I want to do is take out these entrance reducers. There's a few dead bees on here, but not that many. So this is a screen bottom board with a replaceable bottom you put in the winter. I'm going to go ahead and leave this in there for now, in case we have some more really cold weather. Don't think we will, but just in case. All right. So we'll go ahead and put the sugar back on here, although they don't really need it. In fact, I think I changed my mind. Since there's all that honey in there fairly close to them, and they're not eating much of that sugar, I'm just going to take it out. Okay, you can see a few of the bees out front there fanning now, because we kind of disrupted them there for a little bit. And there's a few bees probably still in this box right here. And I will set this out in front of this hive here. If we start robbing, I will get it away and move it away, but I just want the bees that are in there to make it back into their home hive, since there wasn't that many in there. In fact, I'll do that right now. So there's still a few bees on the front around here hanging out, so I want them to work their ways back into that hive. You can see there's down there in the shade, a little clump of them right there. Got some pollen on them, so they came in and were working their way back to the top through this deep body here to make it into the top and take it up where the brood are. So we need those bees to get up here and get back into the main hive. Okay, that's it for hive number 5. Did survive. That's a good thing. So if all these other hives have survived, and they were doing good 3 weeks ago, from what I could tell, looks like I'm going to come through this year 100% through the winter. But we got a ways to go to the nectar flow, so that's when things go south on you, is this time of the year right here. So you got to pay close attention. A lot of times the queens this time of year, they just fizzle out on you, and you don't get new growth, new eggs, and there's nothing for them to make a new queen from. So I've had that happen quite often this time of year. So hey, give me a thumbs up if you would. Helps my channel grow a little bit, and subscribe if you haven't. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.